Now for my inspirational message today, in today's darshan. It's about practice. When Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita asked Krishna, the voice of the self, about the restlessness of the mind, speaking about the mind being so restless. And how to control the mind. So he's asking, how do I control the restless mind? And Krishna responded by Vairāgya, which means detachment, objectivity, detachment and objectivity, no judgment, not being attached, not being caught in the eye, Vairāgya and Abhyās, practice. So long as you live in a human body, well, we are having the human experience together. We unconsciously develop poor habits. Unconsciously. We get caught in vices because everybody is doing it. We get caught in commercialism because it's the hype, the in thing. Everybody wants the newest and the best. And we get caught in all these advertisements. My goodness. We get swayed. We get carried away with all the things that we see in pharmacies and supermarkets and all these wonderful looking things and tasting things. And our taste has become perverted, lost its natural taste. Can you enjoy the natural taste of things? I delight in that. First, I want to taste it naturally. When I get my plate, I sample every one of the things on the plate to get a feel for each one. And then I go with how my body feels. Which one do you want first? My loving body. Which one do you want first? How do I mix this for you? When I look at the food, my body may accept or reject. And I listen to that. What do I feel to eat today? What does my body say? I don't want to be carried away by the senses. I want to really understand my body. And we have a gut brain that connects with the body's intelligence. And that is absolute joy. The body is continuously communicating with us, if only we would listen. But the whole idea is when we come back to the body's instinct, and we listen to the body, or we listen to nature, because the best pharmacy yet is nature. All the medicines are in nature, and our ancestors did a marvelous job, the shamans, the natural doctors, they did a marvelous job of testing what is good and what is not so good. So over time, they've built this expertise, over generations. And they know what the natural medicines are. But the natural medicines are so cheap that they become undesirable. They're not packaged nicely because you may have to clean the leaves, you may have to scrape the bark, you may have to boil it. But you want to go into the shelf, pick up a vial, it's already done for you. And the concoctions are not what nature meant to be. Even preparation of the food should be done with wisdom. So if you live close to the natural instinct of the human body, it's the most beautiful thing that you can do. Always remember that nature gives freely. Look at what we have done to the air, look at what we have done to the water, look at what we have done to the earth. We practice the wrong form of agriculture. And unless we go back to observing nature and work with nature, nature knows best. It knows how to recycle things. It offers the best products for you, coming straight into your hand, hanging from a tree, or fruiting from a tree or a vine, or a little bit under the earth. How can you not see that? But we develop a practice by honoring the body, honoring nature, and seeing the bounty that we already have. And when we hold on to that practice, it will become an instinct within us. Our body will naturally not want what is not good for us. It will be trained. And when you develop the habit of not overfeeding the body through your perverted taste, you will enjoy more vitality in the body. Excess food will deplete your vitality. Wrong combinations will deplete your vitality. Poor quality food will deplete your vitality. You don't see it. You become accustomed to poor vitality without even noticing it. We no longer live at optimum vitality, and we have accept low levels of vitality as the standard. And mental practice. If you don't get involved in some sort of mental practice, the way the environment is, the way the forces of the environment are, you'll be constantly be heavily influenced by the environment. Then the mind will be restless. We need mental training for an environment like we have, full of stresses. So it's crucial that you learn to sit for meditation until you don't need to sit. Because every time you take a break, it comes naturally. Centering, breathing right, observing well, managing the mind, managing emotion. When it comes to relationships, you're already with emotional management. Because you have the meditative awareness. You listen differently. You speak differently. You observe the quality of voice that you are communicating with. You manage the voice intelligently for best communication, best relationship. Learn to respect others. That's where the practice is. It's not just in the sitting in the meditation only. It is using it when tested by the forces around us. And not being in fear, or flight, or freeze. That the body may become hyper, with heavy depletion of your vital energy. No. So a lot of practice has to happen around emotional management, emotional intelligence and mental intelligence. And the best is when you can come to the source, when you can transcend the mind, because it's difficult to control the mind in the mind. You need transcendence, and this is what happens in satsang. This is what happens in these group gatherings. And I just want to say a word about the voice of the enlightened. When we listen to evolved souls, and we listen to the voice of enlightened beings, the voice is a way to the self. That's one of the deep experiences that I have had with my master, Baba Muktanand. His voice led me so deeply inside myself because I followed the energy of his voice. And I have found it so with different masters. I can tell when they're speaking from the self. And it's such beauty. If they're singing from there, if they're speaking from there, you can just lay back and it becomes the voice of the highest part of you. Why not go to bed with that? Why not wake up to that? Why not listen to that in a silent moment? The voice of those evolved souls. And even some singers, they tend to hit that for a moment at the zone. And then you feel self. So listen to those singers who really take you into, transport you into a place where they are feeling flow and in the zone. That's the self. Look at those dancers. Look at those speakers who really take you into an experience of self and embrace it. Don't get caught up in the form. Don't get caught up in the messenger. Listen to the voice. The voice of the self comes through different forms. It can be a child. It can be those who speak straight from their heart. And it can be those that speak from total transcendence. Continuously. All these things are aid to the practice. When you practice, more and more you can meet the challenges so much better. You can deal with conflict so much better. How do I love these words of Krishna? Vairāgya and Abhyās. Skillful detachment, wise detachment, and practice. So long as you live in a human body, even the masters do it, even though they are free. They sit down and they recharge the whole space with a mantra, with a voice, with speech. They don't need to do it, but it lights up the space and becomes a blessing to all of us. So why not be a blessing to your world? Let your practices bring more light into every space that you're in. Even the space that you're meditating in now becomes charged by your constant practice. The room becomes different, the bed becomes different. The spaces you inhabit become different. So remember those words of Krishna, Vairāgya and Abhyās, Arjuna. Detachment and practice is going to get you there. Follow the way of the wise. Have a blessed Thursday, everyone. My soul bows to you. Namaskar.